In my own experience and circumstance, I retired with a broken tib and fib. Broke my leg whilst playing for Tranmere against Brentford. Spent spent kind of a year trying to rehabilitate. Wasn't right, and I left Tranmere, and I can only kind of it felt like leaving prison, to be honest, which is extreme, but something that you were kind of institutionalized with, keeping fit around your teammates, all that, and I used the kind of leaving prison because I walked out of the car park with a wash bag, and that's it. That's my whole life, dreams, career. Um, didn't speak to an awful lot of people after that. Didn't get the kind of maybe support or reach out that you think, unless you're prepared for that transition out of football. But that was me who had to retire with an injury. I guess it's different for different players at different times, but that I felt very isolated and alone that day. Think I was still naive at that time, thinking I'm a footballer. Somebody's going to come and save me. Someone's going to give me an opportunity. I'd had a relatively good career up to that point. I'd played Premier League and international football and looked after my money pretty well and thought naively it's going to last forever and something will happen. Uh, Turned down many opportunities to re-educate myself during that time, or to do coaching badges, etc. And was kind of a bit naive to the whole experience. So it's only afterwards and during the next 6, 12, 18 months that I think it really hits home for me, that lack of purpose, losing fitness, um, lack of contact with teammates and the club, and then I can look back now as a nearly qualified therapist. I guess now I've made sense of it and done the work on myself. But at the time, I was missing the validation of a crowd on the Saturday. I was missing the purpose of teammates and all these kind of things that I couldn't figure out as a 27, 28-year-old guy. I think as a footballer, um, your drivers are obviously single-mindedness, competitiveness, um, resilience. So that the last thing you're going to do, and it doesn't lend itself greatly, if you like, and it's probably for all professional footballers and athletes, your biggest strength can be your biggest weakness. So showing vulnerability, showing a desire to reach out and ask for help or support, just didn't fit with the set of drivers that had made me an elite athlete. So it didn't lend itself well. Um, and I got lost in that time. And I look back now, and led to being a problem gambler and depression and everything else. But at no stage was I going to show my vulnerability. Um, so I guess I went on a bit of a spiral of losing myself, if you want to use them words. I think some of the drivers that make us professional athletes and footballers don't lend themselves greatly to being self-aware and self-reflective, and almost comfortable exposing some of your vulnerabilities, because they're not the things that drive you as a professional footballer. You're told to be tough and strong mind, strong will, resilient, and to bounce back and on all them things. And they just don't sit comfortably with somebody saying, I don't feel great, I need a bit of help. So from my experience delivering my own lived experience with pro footballers, as much support as there is, there's still that breakdown between recognizing that you need some help and you may be vulnerable and asking for it. Um, and I found again from my own work that that tends to come from ex-players and colleagues, because there's that a little bit of trust and safety and almost a safe place to share that vulnerability, which I think players still struggle with. Yeah, there was still that fear of reaching out and that reluctance, and I'd love to be, hopefully if people are watching this and they listen to this, almost ask the question and have the conversation about whether that can be there when you're in more of a position of strength, if you like. Mine was at a bit of a breaking point and a rock bottom, and it'd be great if players could almost be more aware and have a greater understanding of what the support looks like and what that might be able to do for them. Mine was a bit of a rock bottom. And the foundation was brilliant. It helped me through a tough time during divorce, um, and it allowed me to pay for some things that I got behind with, and just helped me get on my feet and survive, if you like, a period of my life that I needed the support, um, and it was invaluable for me. Allowed me to go on a kind of different journey. I got re-educated, which was tough in later life, but something I'd always kind of shied away from. I embraced. Um, now just about coming to the end of being a qualified psychotherapist. I go out and talk about my lived experience to pro athletes as well. So without that support, I think maybe I wouldn't have been in a position to go and kickstart, restart my life, reset, whatever word you want to use. But it was invaluable to me to get that support. There seems to be a real power. I probably wasn't aware of the power of lived experience, or an ex-player speaking to current players, but having done it for the last couple of years, it really is powerful. I've had so many instances where I've spoke to players after a session who really want to open up, despite all the support in place at the clubs, which is fantastic. There's still, like I said, that almost comfort in sharing it with somebody who's been there and done that, and I can stand there and show my battle scars, if you like, and be raw enough to show some emotion and pain, and it seems to be really effective. Transition from professional football into what I would call the real world, or a normal lifestyle, if you like, is you need to be much better equipped. I wasn't equipped for it. I wasn't ready for it, and I've probably suffered for a long period of my adult life, having finished football not equipped or not having the necessary skill set to adapt. And now doing it in my 40s, it's better late than never, I guess, but I wish I'd have taken up some of them opportunities sooner. And I think it's brilliant. I love the way the foundation are almost encouraging and going and seeking players out, I think, because that's important to me. As I said earlier, players or a former player's drivers will always be, I'm going to be okay, I can manage on my own, and the reluctance to reach out. So it's great that the foundation are almost checking in on players, if you like, and offering them that platform and offering them the services, because footballers get a bad rap, I think, sometimes, but there's some smart guys out there, and it's not that everyone wants to become a therapist like myself. People might find other opportunities, but it's great to get that support and know somebody's behind you. I remember playing at clubs and seeing the sensible ones, if you like, taking up the opportunity to educate themselves for life after football, and I was in that mindset of, oh, I don't need that, and an immature view, if you like. My biggest message would be mature about it. It's not a career that lasts forever. It can end for lots of different reasons, and post playing is another set of challenges. So, any help you can get from the foundation regards re-educating, finding a second career, preparing yourself for that transition, take it and do it, and be mature enough to ask the question and get the support, and go ahead and do that. And yeah, I certainly wish I'd have done it a lot sooner.